All right, so thank you everyone. You're all welcome to today's program. We are going to be discussing very important topic in our meeting today. First of all, we're going to look at, settling down in the United States. What was it like? We're going to look at everything, all the challenges, all the cultural adaptation, the shock, everything that happened. And Boss Ekiuwa here, who is our own very person, is going to be enlightening us on this topic. She has, I know I'm supposed to read her biography, but it's just a lot. So I will allow her to introduce herself, but I'm going to just say a little thing I know about her. So she is one person that is always committed to transformation, changing lives around her, trying to let people know what she knows. She's been with me in the academy for a very long time. She was a teacher in the academy. And I think also before you became a teacher, were you with us in the academy before you became a teacher? Were you with us?
Apparently not.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So she has been with us as a teacher in the academy, and then she moved to the United States, got a little bit busy, and but she still has that, love and desire to talk to people, to teach people, and to, expose our mind on what she feels that will be very important, especially for those relocating to the United States. So we're going to take it, little by little. We're not going to rush it. We just ask question one after the other. And at the end, we will have opportunity for you guys to ask your own questions. Okay. So first of all, we're going to introduce we have introduced our guest. So Kelly Kiwa, how are you doing today?
I'm good. It's nice
Uh,
hearing from you. Good
nice
afternoon.
hearing, nice
Good
hearing from
afternoon
you.
from here.
Yeah, good afternoon. I know different time zone. It's just
Yeah.
so amazing how things happen in the world. Like, right now it's still like 2 p.m. our time, but I know in Nigeria, they are getting ready to go to sleep.
Yeah.
But some people have really, kept time with us and wants to be in this program. And they want to get to know who they are talking with. So can you give us a little bit of insight to who you are, how you would, possibly introduce yourself for us?
All right. Good afternoon once again, and thank you for this opportunity, Boss Decency Academy, for giving me this platform to, share my experience, talk to everybody. My name is Ekiuwa Kelly, and I'm based in the United States. I'm a US RON, a critical care nurse as well. Although I didn't specify that. And I'm a registered nurse from National Military Council of Nigeria and a registered midwife also. And it's my pleasure to be here today and share my experience with you because everybody has a unique experience.
That's true.
Going to another location, leaving your hometown, leaving your home country, leaving your family back home, people you've always known all your life, and then you go to a different environment and different zone altogether.
Not easy.
It's a whole lot of navigation and transformation that takes place in a person. And I will start from my journey being an USRON because it started a long time. It all started as an inspiration, like as a dream. Everybody has dream,
Mm-hmm.
and basically, it is very important for you to have a dream and also have a vision also. And it's also very important that you commit this vision and this dream of yours to God and to let God guide you every step of the way. So when I started the dream, my aspiration of being a US RON, I work in a multi-specialist hospital in Nigeria and known nationally as a national hospital,
Right,
Abuja. So
right. Mm-hmm.
I work in the critical care units, and there was this particular day we had this opportunity of meeting with people from the diaspora, nurses from all over the world. They came to our facility. They came for a open heart surgery,
Open heart
and
surgery,
then
yeah.
yes, and I was nominated as one of the team people to join the League of Nurses that
Mm-hmm.
will take care of this patient post-operatively from the open heart surgery. And this had to do with neonatal people, the neonates, the infants. Those are the people in the class for this surgery. And that opportunity apparently opened my eyes, to see that, wow, you could have opportunity of being like these people, because those nurses came and we were all, let me say, we were all flabbergasted. Like, we saw the way they behaved, the way they comported themselves, the way they handled, clinical issues, and the way they responded when the patient is in a critical need. I said, wow, are these my colleagues? Are these people from my own profession as a nurse? And so I said, okay. And I started asking questions. I started asking these people. And some of them said they were nurse practitioners. And I could see them work independently, you know, make prescriptions, take actions. And then the doctors, those of them that were there, were like, oh, these nurses are not just nurses, they are more. They have a lot in them, they're bringing up those skills that they have. And so I was really inspired. I started asking them questions, and I started finding out, yes, you can actually be a nurse. You can actually navigate your way to work with these people. And they said, you can come work with us. Come work with us. Come to our country. Come to the UK. Come to the US. I said, okay. I started praying about it. And that opportunity came, and I was able to travel, and I started planning my way, to come to the US. I got a visiting visa the first time. That was in 2017 in May, and then I got a visa and I started, applying to be a US RON. First of all, my application was to the Texas Board of Nursing. And then I registered with CGFNS. And after that, I had to, make sure I got my credentials sent to the CGFNS for verification. And these are all the process we go through. And at the end of the day, I did this jurisprudence exam. And then I was prepared and programmed for the NCLEX exam itself. Now, let me come to the main thing about the exams. I'm not really going to talk about so much about the exam. I'm going to talk about it being that you, as a person, as a nurse who is looking forward to being in this place, you can actually get there. You can do it. If I could go through that process and I could achieve, then you can as well. So this process went step by step. And I started reading books. I started preparing, to write the exams. It was a whole lot. And I'll say you all are fortunate because Decency Academy is there as a backbone. You could fall back on and call, oh, please, I need help with this stage. I need help with this stage. In my own case, it wasn't that way. I had to kind of find my way out, look for, ask information, make inquiries, just to see how I could be on the right track. And thankful to God that everything came out well. So at the end of the day, I had to get materials, get books, get the materials that has to do with Kaplan, bunch of nursing resources that I had to use, and I had to go online also and search for things. And the exam came, and everything went well. First of all, during that exam, my experience was this. It matters your focus. It matters what you say. People just get discouraged sometimes, like, oh, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can find my way. These people did this. Are you sure I can? You have to make up your mind and say, I can do this. And that I can do will push you forward and God will help you. Right. So when I got to the exam hall, we have 165 questions to answer. And at 1:20, the computer shut down on me. I was like, oh, I hope I'm on the right course. Am I okay? Did I do well? Did I not do well? No, you cannot really say much. So I got home, I started thinking about the exam all over again. And to God be the glory, when I found out, I made a research to check if I passed or not, do a quick check, and I found out that I actually passed. Oh, it was a great joy. Okay. And coming here to this country in the United States, I arrived with my family in 2021, December. And when we got here, we found a lot of things to navigate through. First of all, you have to meet people with different cultures, the work environment, the nursing skill, the settings, the way they do their stuff. When you're already used to this kind of thing, your home country, and you didn't have opportunity to see this kind of things, when coming to a different environment, you have to kind of brace up. First of all, you have to be courageous. You got to be courageous. and you have to learn how to be able to express yourself without sounding like you are rude or you are, here, the Americans, they have a way they communicate. They have a way of communicating. When you talk at a loud voice, they see you like you are being arrogant or you are being rude. When you talk on a high pitch of tone, they see you as somebody who is being aggressive. They call it aggression. So you have to learn, to communicate as a nurse in your work environment. When you get here, to talk assertively, not because you are trying to, impress your opinion on anybody, but you're going to do it in a very respectful manner, in a very, very respectful and decent way. You're able to express your feelings, express your opinion and ideas without sounding rude, without sounding arrogant. Now, my first time here, I found out that first of all, you have to do a handoff. Like my first experience, having a handoff for your patients is a different thing. The handoff here is done as we will call it ESBA. That's the situation.
So sorry, before you go forward, I just
Yeah.
wanted to cool it down a little bit. To a lot of people joined us halfway, so
Okay.
we are kind of just to bring people up to speed on what is going on. So we have Nurse Ekiuwa right here. Nurse Ekiuwa, just introduced herself. She has been a registered nurse for a long time. She's been to National Hospital. She worked in National Hospital, and she mentioned the open heart surgery. Actually, I worked with her in National Hospital, and we do the OR part, and then we'll bring the patient to the ICU where they manage the patient in the ICU. So we work with a lot of people that come from the UK, from the US. They all come to National Hospital to do surgeries. So then it was when she caught the fire to be able to pursue her dream. And in 2017, she was able to secure a US visa, but it was just for visiting. So she came in here, she did her, visitation and everything. Of course, I know I'm going to ask her this question just for clarity. When you come to the US for the first time and then you don't have the necessary visas, were you tempted to stay back at that point? Somebody stay back, don't go again. You're already here. That kind of thing. Were you tempted to go back?
Yeah, thank you for asking this very particular question. I had a lot of people in my environment that were telling me, "Hey, what are you going back to do in your country? Don't go to Nigeria. Stay back here. You want to
Yeah,
go back to suffer?
yeah.
You want to go this? Why don't you stay back and see how you can get your papers, get your documents?" I asked them. I said, "How long did it take you to get your own documents?" And some of them told me they paid somebody, they did this arrangee kind of marriage to get a certificate, to get a document to work in the US. And working in the US, I found out that if you don't have papers here, if you don't
Very
have
difficult.
documents, you will suffer.
Yeah,
It's a
life is
life of
hard.
slavery. Yeah, it's a life of slavery. It's really hard to see people work here and they don't have papers. First of all, they don't have peace of mind.
Mm-hmm.
They are not settled in. They are not confident. They cannot even express themselves. They
That's
cannot
true.
fight for their rights. You cannot fight for your rights. Somebody does
Mm-hmm.
anything to you and you just take the bullshit because
Mm-hmm.
you cannot speak.
Yeah,
You are handicapped at that moment. So
that's right.
let me tell you my story. My story is very, very, I'm happy for this question you asked me
Mm-hmm.
because in my own case, thank God, I have a brother who was very supportive. Like he was supporting me all step of the way. He
Wow.
said the very day I went for the exam, I wrote the exam on the 25th of November, 2017.
Mm,
And my stay was going to be expiring on the 27th of November 2017.
mm,
I didn't get my schedule till the time when it's ready for me to go back home.
mm,
And glory be to God, I got a space to write the exam, a schedule
mm,
for the exam on the 25th of November. So
mm.
I went to the hall, wrote the exam. Then on the 26th, I had to head
Oh,
straight to the airport.
oh my God. You have to run out
I
of
had
the
to run
country.
out. I was telling my brother, I said, "Oh, how am I sure I'm going to make this journey? I'm tired. This
Mm-hmm.
exam was really stressful. I feel a lot of headache. My head aches so bad." And
Mm.
then he said, "Please, if you don't move, the headache you're going to have next will be
Yeah.
higher than."
Will be here. Yes, yes,
And then
yes.
guess what? We
Mm,
had the President Trump. in power then, who was really aggressive about, people who didn't have documents and all the
Right.
stuff. And
Right.
he said, the headache you're going to have if you do not leave now will be
Mm-hmm.
higher than what you're talking about now. Just get
Right.
ready and go to the airport.
Right.
So I had to, okay. My friends were like, where are you going? Stay. Don't worry. We will help you. I said, look at me straight in the eye. I said, I'm sorry. I got to go back to my
Right.
country.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
somebody once said to me, when you go, you'll not be able to come home.
Mm-hmm.
Trump will block the way. I said, who's Trump?
Mm-hmm.
Trump is not higher than God.
Exactly.
And he's
Exactly.
not going to stop me. I will come back and I will come in the legal way to
Right.
America. And
Good.
then she said, okay, you can go. So I went home. I arrived in Nigeria. I left America on the 26th. I arrived in Nigeria airport 27th.
Mm.
And that was when my stay has expired. But
Oh
I'm
my
grateful
God.
to God that I was able to leave the US
Yes,
before
before.
my expiry date. And that could have
Awesome.
affected me filing, because during the
Yes.
filing process, they asked me, did you overstay?
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
the first question I got.
Mm-hmm.
And then the agency said, okay, if you didn't overstay, fine, we can step in now. We can help
Right.
you.
Mm-hmm.
You see? So I'm grateful to God I didn't make that decision of
Mm-hmm.
staying back, because that would have stopped me and my family, from experiencing this America dream.
Mm-hmm.
You got it. So
Yeah. Thank you
thank you.
for responding to that. You know, a lot of people have come to me and they're like, oh, what if I get a US visa? I have already passed my NCLEX. Can I go there and just be working, even if it is just doing nanny for somebody and all that? I say, man, you have something worth more than what you're looking for. It's just like you are high up there and you're looking for positions of, in very low position. I know some of you're feeling like, let me go, let me leave the country. Country is becoming so bad, but just relax. Don't push it. Don't rush it. As retrogression is another thing that is causing a lot of people to
Yeah.
panic. Did you experience retrogression during your time?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Did you experience
When I got back home,
Mhm.
yes, I did. Let me
Oh
tell
my
you my
God.
experience.
Oh my God.
When I was in the US, I had this opportunity of meeting a lady who actually passed an NCLEX exam. She passed, but she didn't go back home. She overstayed. She stayed back. And then she was working. So I asked her. Then she was working in all this home, we'll go for home health, go for home care. So I asked her, how much are you earning? And she told me she was earning $12 an hour.
Oh my
And I
God.
said, but you passed NCLEX.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, well, because she overstayed, she has to do the under table job.
Oh my
So
God.
I looked at her. I said, do you have family back home? She said, yes, she has family back home. She has children. Her husband is in Nigeria. I said, wow, that was a great separation for you. And moreover, you're not even doing substantial job that can earn you something reasonable that you can really boast about. And then your own contemporary nurses who are working in the States with their document that they have papers, they are earning $35 or $30 at least, per
Mm-hmm.
hour. And then you are settling for 12. So I told her, no, this is not a good decision. And she said, well, she can't go away. She lives in the country. She can't go back. She
Mm.
will not be able to come back.
Yeah.
So she's stuck. And I said, how are you going to do this? She said, well, she's just trusting God to help her, so she can, able to find her way and get her documents. When I got back here in Nigeria, back to Nigeria, that was in 2018, I started filing. I had to join an agency. And my agency then was another international agency. And when I joined, they started filing for me. I waited. I had two what do you call this? RFE.
RFE, request for further evidence. So, guys,
Exactly.
RFE means when you pass your NCLEX and then
Yeah.
the agency, does the I-140 application for you. The USCIS will evaluate the application. After looking at it, they feel like they need more information on you. They will request for further evidence. That's RFE is request for further evidence. Go on.
So when I got that ROFE the first time, I felt so disappointed. You know, it took a lot of courage. I said, wow, what's going to happen? I've stayed already. I came and I've been waiting. And this time around, this time was about, I think it was 20, I filed in 2018
Mm,
from January till about September. I didn't get any information. I didn't get any information from the USRL. I didn't get anything from them. I didn't get any information about my papers, my file, and no information. Then the next thing I saw was ROFA.
Mm.
You know, that can be really disheartening, you know.
Yeah,
And then I
man,
started
you are
praying.
strong.
That can be really, yes. So
Yeah.
they said, don't worry, we got you. We're going to start again the process. You have to start again. So they did again. They
Mm.
put in my papers again. So it's very important at this stage that you have an agency,
Right.
because the agency is the person people that will push it for you. They keep pushing your file.
Mm-hmm.
They will don't stand it for you. That is why it's good for you to have an agency that you can connect with, and they push everything for you. And I'm glad you got decency. Decency has
Right.
good experience
Yeah.
on that, to be
Yeah.
able to help you push your way through, give you information, tell you what to do next, step your papers forward. So that
Yeah.
was what they did for me, and they did it a second time, and then we waited. And when it was about time for it to click, by the time they said it was ready, I was ready to, start planning to leave the country. Then Trump ban came.
Mm. Mm. This is double. This
And
is
at this
double.
stage, when the Trump ban came, I already got interviewed. I was already interviewed, and I was already like, okay, they're gonna get me a placement for me to get a job. And then the ban came, and then COVID. Everything was on a standstill.
Ah.
You can imagine the palpitations,
Oh,
the
no.
trepidations,
Mhm.
and disappointments, discouragement, and then you keep hearing this voice. The devil, of course, want to tell you, "Hey, are you sure you're going to be able to get this thing done?
Maybe this is
Are
not
you
for
sure you're
you.
still going to go to the US?
Yeah.
My, are you sure you're going to be able to achieve it?" And then
Mhm.
guess what? In my place of work, my work environment, my colleagues who knew I was busy with this, they knew I was busy. They knew I have passed the exam.
Mm.
They knew I came back to Nigeria. They knew
Mm.
I came back to resume in my office.
Mm.
And then they kept asking me, "Are you not? Didn't you say you passed the
Mhm.
NCLEX?
Some
So
people will
what
be
are you still
doubting you. They'll be
doing?"
like, maybe you didn't pass. You're just lying.
Exactly.
But
Somebody
you
had
don't
the
owe
courage.
anybody any. You don't owe anybody any. That's why I tell people, it is your life. Yeah, it's your life. You
Exactly.
don't owe anybody any explanation.
So I
Mm.
kept hearing people tell me, some of the people are actually summoned their courage, to come ask me, I thought you said you passed the NCLEX. But
Mm.
people we knew who passed, I mean, before you passed before those people, they've gone.
Mhm.
What's keeping you behind? Mine was a long process, actually.
Mm.
It took 4 years. My process
Wow.
took 4 years. Yes.
Wow.
2017 to 2021. That was 4 years,
Oh my God.
And then they said, "Are you sure you actually passed the NCLEX?"
You have to be explaining your success to people. When success turns to an explanation, I passed, but it looks somehow. But
Of
one thing I know is that where you are now cannot
Yeah.
be compared to where you've been before.
Yeah.
So it's just a success and a testimony that I know as you're sharing it is encouraging someone who is listening to us now. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So by the time I actually came here, there's this song, I usually hear it's from my dialect anyway. The song says, when, and it's in the Bible too, when the Lord turned the captivity of Zion, we're like them that dreamed. So when God turns things around for you, it's like a dream.
Right.
So all those pain, the period of time I was waiting, trying to get things done, in a moment, I can't remember the pain anymore. This kind of stress, because the pain is like everything has been wiped off. So when I go to work and you see you are working, you are seeing your dividend. Nobody's gonna owe you a dime. Everybody, they pay you what you work for. You
No
see what
workers
you're
strike.
working for. Nobody's striking on you. Nobody's telling you, "Oh, sorry, we could not pay you to this month or this week.
Mm,
We'll
mm.
plan your salary." Those kind of stories.
Yeah.
I didn't hear those stuff. So I give God the praise. I keep saying those period of time I was waiting.
Mm.
To me, it doesn't. I don't feel it anymore. The
Right.
pains, the stress, and everything just went away in a
Oh,
flash.
man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I know that even if we didn't have this discussion, maybe you wouldn't even remember these details, because I know it took you that 4 years to go through the process, but right now It's not part of your I think in memory we have subconscious. Yeah, so
Subconscious.
it doesn't even come to your subconscious. You don't even remember it anymore because
Mm,
you've gone past that level. You've gone past
mhm.
that whole stress and everything. But I know it was really traumatizing for you to do the US
Yes.
process for 4 years. I know
Yes.
people who do the process for, little over a year and everything works out and they're out.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
everybody's story is not the same.
Not the
Okay.
same.
I
That's
know
right.
people who meet retrogression like we're meeting it now, and I know that before long we're going to have the road is going to clear again, and people will start moving on, and that's what I'm looking up for. So one of the things I want to achieve by this program is allowing you guys to listen to people who had inspiring story to tell, so that when you listen to them, you can be encouraged in this period of waiting. Okay, instead of running around going to look for one thing or the other to do that might contradict what you're supposed to get, like looking for visa, coming to the US as a visitor, trying to do other things that might not be so easy for you. It's better
Mm.
that's waiting time. Look around you, think of something that you can use that period to do. So now let's fast forward to when you came to the United States. So when you arrived in the United States with your kids, I know you have kids, right? So how
Yeah.
was this? How was the adaptation for you guys, for your family? How was it like, moving to school, getting school, and was it difficult? How was the transition?
Mm. Thank you for asking this question. The transition to the US system was a whole lot, and it took a process. And then, thanks to my agency, because they kept giving information, they kept telling you, okay, this is what you're going to feel next, this is what you're going to do next. And then the first time we arrived here. When we got to the airport, we had somebody waiting on us to pick us up. So we're treated like ambassadors,
Mm,
like you're coming to represent your country here, right? We are
mhm,
taken from the airport. We had a chauffeur driven car,
mm,
and then they got us booked in the hotel.
mm,
And then from there, they took us to our own apartments. So
mm.
everything was all planned out.
Wow.
And then it was from that level when we got here, the agency, they had to arrange with the banks to open an account for us. And then we got the bank account opened. And then we got credit card. I didn't know what they call credit card.
Right.
In my country, there's nothing like credit card. Everything you pay.
If you don't have it, don't look at it. I remember when we used to go to market when we were very small. Our
Yeah.
parents would take us to market and we'll be looking at something, looking, thinking that our parents will notice us. You don't look at it because you will never get it. So yeah, credit card, you can look at anything and buy anything, but you'll be paying for it. But in
So
Nigeria,
it was
you have to have the
it,
money to be able to purchase it.
it was a wonderful experience for us because I didn't know what they call credit card. I said, credit card. They said, yes, you have 5,500 on that card, and then you can make any purchase, do everything you need. Put your house in order before you start working. I said, wow. So this is the first experience of the American dream.
Wow.
And then that came up. We were able to use. You got the credit card. You can buy whatever you want to buy.
Mm,
And the way they did it here, the system here is so different from ours because in your country, you have to pay for everything.
mhm,
Everything. If you don't have the money, like
mm.
Boss Decency just said, you don't go near there. Don't
Don't
even
even
go
look
there.
at
Don't even look at it.
it.
But this make you affordable. Like you could actually purchase what you want and get what you want. Now, going forward, after that was done for us, because somebody was attached to us. Like we had a driver and a vehicle attached to us that was taking us every step of the way. Take us to the bank, take us to the shopping mall. It was just a flamboyant kind of experience on that
Right,
period,
right.
like in another world. Do you understand what I mean?
Mm,
And at the end of the day, we got these auto people coming. They said, are you
mhm,
interested in getting a vehicle from the auto a company like the Auto Source? We have two companies that they were offering us, Auto Source and Advancia. In
mm,
these people will tell you if you want to get a car, you have to tell us the kind of specific car you need,
mm.
and then they'll get it for you, and then
Wow.
you start paying gradually. And that was the first thing. We got the car already set up. We have to make our choice. Even before we left our home country, we had a choice of the vehicle we want to ride.
Wow.
And it was the latest car. The
Mm.
latest car that was
Yoruba.
bided that we got. What you call Tierra. I had never dreamt in my country that I would drive a Tierra.
Mm.
You know, you use the word Tierra because it's a new brand
Yeah.
new car. So here we got this car with it with everything packaged, and they said, "Well, this is your car." And the car arrived, I think 3 months after we came into the country. And while the car was yet to come, we had the rental car already planned out for us. And that
Wow.
rental car, you just take it to work. They already paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
So you just take your car to work, driving where you want to go. I mean, it was like Alice in Wonderland
Wow.
experience.
Wow.
If anybody ever watched that movie, growing up as a child, I watched that movie called Alice in Wonderland, and it was just like going from stage to stage. It was
Mm.
a whole lot of beautiful experience. And then that's aside, when we finished with that, I started working because I didn't start working on about I think I started my job about a week plus when I arrived. They told you have to this period of time rest, get things done, know your environment, know how things go here. And we did orientation and then got into the orientation process. Now, into the hospital system. Now, the health system here was a lot different from what we have. Although you already have a background of being a nurse. So
Mm-hmm.
I started asking myself again, I said, wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Am I not am I not a nurse experienced? Am I not an experienced nurse? So
Mm-hmm.
why is this people making me look like, oh, I'm just as if I'm starting afresh? You understand what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yes.
So it was as if I'm starting a whole process now,
Right.
because you have to start doing things differently. You're doing things differently. That's the basic truth. You're
Right.
doing things differently. Your handoff is unique. You
Mm-hmm.
call it ESBA. We call it ESBA report. That's the
Mm.
situation background assessment report that you have to make
Yeah.
for your patient. So
Yeah.
you go straight to the points, and you
Right.
have to navigate from the system, from the anatomical system of the patient. You
Mm-hmm.
start from head to toe. You
Right.
do a head to toe assessment of your patient.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know how the patient is breathing, the
Mm-hmm.
circulation system, you have to note that, the digestive system, urinary system, the muscular system. These systems comes in place. So you
Yeah.
have been having a content when you were in school, your academic preparing for the NCLEX, you had this content
Mm-hmm.
study. Now your
Mm-hmm.
content study will come into play when you
Wow.
come into the health system. And
Wow.
then you got to meet different equipments.
Wow.
First of all, the equipment and the computer system was different. Back
Oh.
home in my country, we are
Mm-hmm.
used to, paper chatting.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked me, well, how do you put chat in your home country? I said, we do paper chatting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Here we call it epics. We call
Mm-hmm.
it epic system. You go to the system, everything you need is already on the computer.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need a pen, you don't need a paper to write. If
Mm-hmm.
you have to make any notes, it's on the computer. If you want to know about the patient labs, the lab reports, the doctor's commentaries, the diagnoses, the medication the patient is supposed to be on, patient allergic to anything, everything is there on the computer. So it was a whole lot of navigation.
Mm-hmm.
It had to be for me. I had to spend time. I pray every morning. I pray very well. Before going to the
Mm-hmm.
hospital, I took
Mm-hmm.
a personal study. I had to
Mm-hmm.
go to YouTube, started
Mm-hmm.
searching how do they do their handoff,
Mm-hmm.
how do they do the work here,
Mm-hmm.
and then I had this typical experience. Here if I'm going to work in the morning, you resume at 6:45 a.m.
Wow.
So it means you have to wake up at 5 a.m. I wake up at 5 a.m., prepare, do my prayers. I pray a lot. I
Mm-hmm.
pray. So I prayed, get ready, get my kids ready for school, and
Mm-hmm.
then go to the office. And then when you get there, you have to do your reporting, you have to make notes, and then you start chatting hourly. You do your hourly rounds. You do 4 hourly round, 4 hourly round, 4 hourly chatting on different aspects. Chatting the IV, you have to chat whether the patient IV is okay. Is the
Mm-hmm.
IV accessible? Is there blood coming in? You have to chat
Mm-hmm.
this. And
Wow.
then you have to make a note to let people know if anything goes wrong with that IV, you have to report it.
Mm-hmm.
So in my own case, when I got to the hospital, my first experience, you know, And it happens that where I live in North Carolina in the United States, there's this air of racism.
Mm.
We experience it. My
Wow.
kids experience that because
Wow.
they find out it's like, Mom, these people, different color skin.
Mm-hmm.
You have to kind of encourage your children and let them know that, look, nobody can look down on you. Nobody can talk you down.
Right.
You are special.
Mm-hmm.
God made you special. So you do not let anybody ride on you and
Right.
talk you down. You
Mm-hmm.
let them know that, look, I'm specially made and I'm unique in my own way.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot come and and make me look less than myself. So that was how it was. So my first experience happened that when I got into the hospital system, I think there's some noise in the background.
Yeah, I'm meeting the person.
Okay. Okay, fine. So when I got to the hospital, my first experience during my orientation period, I realized there was this lady, this racist, and I already have this background from my habit. My pastor teaches us a lot about how to, stand up for your rights and speak for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then this lady trying to show me the system of the computer and tell me what to do and what not to do. And then she said, "Oh, how do you chat in your home country?" I said, we do paper chatting. And then she said, over here we have to do our things on the computer. I said, yeah, and that's what I'm saying right now. And I'm going to do that with you. And then she was like, okay. At the end of the day, she said, you're not chatting fast the way you're supposed to chat. I don't think you know computer. I looked at her straight in the eyes. I said, you do not say I don't know computer because I do know. And I am navigating my way. This is a process. I'm on the orientation process. And you are expected to put me through this process. You cannot tell me that.
Mm-hmm.
And I told her face to face, eyeball to eyeball. I said, look at me, watch me, because I'm going to be the best you've ever seen. I could see her turning red. I could see her skin literally started having this blush,
Mm-hmm.
So she started having the blush. I said, you can't put me down
Mm-hmm.
because that's what they want to do, make you feel less than yourself. So that
Exactly.
culturalization, acclimatization, and getting to know how they do their things. Because here you have a lot of people in the background. You have people from Asia. You have people from other parts of the world working in the same department with you. So
Mm-hmm.
the cultural navigation is different.
Mm-hmm.
You have to understand everybody, know how they speak. And then I had to start learning how, to speak to these people. Because if you kind of express yourself, maybe you are angry and you speak loudly, they can actually say that you are rude. They say you are aggressive.
I've seen where they say somebody is fighting them. There's, some people will come to you and intentionally be rude to you. Then
Exactly.
just one word you tell them, they'll go to one corner and start crying. You will see that thing will turn to a big problem. You
Big
understand?
issue. Yeah.
Issue
Yeah.
will come out of it. So
Exactly.
it's always good that when you're talking, you make sure you have witness so that it won't be your word against them. And that your word against another person and another person. So people were there when you said it. Because they can easily
Yeah.
use things on you and it's a big
Yeah.
issue. Mm-hmm.
So there was this time I had this guy. I think he's from the Asia continent. He was trying to have a handoff from me, and then he said, "You didn't do this particular stuff." I said, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna." That was the line dressing. I said, "Oh, I didn't notice. Okay, I'm gonna do that. I will take note of that before I leave now." I was about to give him his handoff, and then he kept saying, "You should have done it. You're supposed to have done." I looked at him straight in the eye. I said, "Excuse me, are you a nurse?" So
Mm-hmm.
when I asked him, I said, "Are you a nurse?" He said, "Of course. You know I'm a nurse." I said, "Oh, you are a nurse?" Because this question you're asking me does not depict that of a nurse. As a nurse, you have busy schedule. You have things coming up. You have orders because you're going to be having orders coming in from
Back
the
to back.
doctor, coming in back to back. And I work days. You have to choose what you want to do. If you're going to be doing night shift in America, you just say, I'm going to be doing night. You're going to be doing night consistently. If you say you're going to be working days, you're going to be doing days consistently. So I do days.
So
So I
why
work
do
in
you
the
like
morning.
this? Do you like this? Because I don't know people that like this. I'm always looking for them to ask them because days is always like so crowded and a lot of drama. There's a lot of drama in day shift. Honestly, this person will come and
Yes.
dramatize, and then there's a lot of eye service in day shift. Honestly, there's a lot of eye service. So people will come out and they'll be like, they'll be working so fast and then they'll go to one corner, they'll just chill and relax. But when you see them walking so fast in the hallway, you think they are going to meet something, or somebody is dying, or they are just going to do, there's a code blue. But if you see where they just parked and they are relaxing, pressing their phone, be like, I see, this is just eye service. So why do you like this? I don't like drama, honestly.
For me, I chose to work during the days because I love to sleep. I love to sleep at night. I don't want anybody
Okay.
bothering me. I don't like night
Yeah,
shift
understandable. Yeah.
because I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
sleep when I'm at work.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be
Yeah,
alert. So the day shift is a lot because you
it
have the
is.
managers on the floor, you have the
Exactly.
supervisors, you have the charge nurses, you have the doctors putting in order back to back. You receive orders back to back. They are
Right.
changing medications, they're changing the regimen of the patient treatment plan, they are doing a lot of things. And you have, most of the time, you see the blood transfusion is coming during the days. All these things come in the daytime. So when this nurse asked me, I said, "Are you a nurse?" And then he said, "Oh, I think I see that as an insult." I said, "An insult is not an insult, it's a question. Because if you are a nurse, your question is irrelevant now. Telling me, oh, you didn't do this, you didn't, why didn't you do it? You would have done it." I said, things will come, of course. And these people don't want to know. They don't want to know. They want to make you feel like you're not doing, doing up to your responsibility. But you have to let them know in a very good way that, look, this is what I'm doing and I know what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my own, experience in a nutshell.
Okay.
And then coming to, let me talk about the medication, because a lot of us, our medication management and medication administration is different from what we have here. Here,
Right.
they use what they call the Pixis.
Mm.
Pixis means every medication is already planned on the computer and it's already in the Pixis, a box that you have to open. And it's only your fingerprints that can open that box for you to access a patient medication. And
Mm.
this is done here to prevent medication errors where you give the wrong patient, the wrong med. So every patient has his own cabinet. Every patient has his plan so that you don't make error. And then you have to also do what they call this, the barcode scanner. You scan the patient to know the right patient, the name, the date of birth, and the patient ID number, everything you have to scan. When you scan that, you have to scan that and scan the medication. Because here, before you can have a medication error in America, it means you didn't go through the process.
Yeah.
It
Or
means in a way
sometimes
that
you
you,
went, or
yeah,
you
yeah,
went and then you collected medication for 3 different people, and then you go to the
exactly.
program like,
Yes,
who has this one? Who has that one? Who has that? Then, but if you do it the right way, one patient at a time, go there,
yeah,
pick the patient's medication, go to
mm,
administer it, and come back for the next one. You will never
yes,
be, in any trouble. Wow,
yes.
wow, wow. That's a lot of information. That's a lot of information. Thank you so
Thank
much. So I just want us to talk about something else. So we've been talking about clinical, adaptation and everything that has to do with hospital. What about cultural? I know you are a very fervent Christian when you were back home. Did you find a place of worship that's, closely related to what you have back home where you live?
Okay, now, yeah, this question you asked, when I first got to my hospital unit, I was posted to the ICU. So I worked in the ICU for about 2 or 3 weeks because I was doing my orientation. And the person that was supposed to give me the orientation process and teach me all this was the one trying to, instigate me and said I was sleeping.
Mm,
Somebody working on a day shift, somebody's telling you are sleeping on a day, that person doesn't like you. And I
mm,
realized that person has this racial, because everybody said she's a racist to the core.
mm, mm, mm,
So
mm.
when that happened, I had to tell my agency, look. They said, okay, do you want to work on another floor? I said, yes, I want to go to another floor. So I had to leave that floor and I went to the fourth floor of my hospital. And guess what? When I got to that fourth floor, I found out that that place, they have this culture where you have to pray in the morning before you start
Wow,
your work.
wow,
I said, wow. Of course,
wow.
the Bible tells us that all things work together for good.
My
So
God.
when I got on that floor and I saw them praying in the morning before they start work. You have to pray. You do what they
Wow.
call a huddle. We come
That
together and
is
have a huddle.
different.
Yeah,
That is different.
I'm telling you.
Somebody prayed in my unit in the OR because we do huddle. She didn't even say like pray. It's just like she just said, may God give us all strength to do our work in Jesus' name. She was written up. she was written off. She had to go all the way to management to beg and apologize and say she won't do it again. If not that she has put in a lot of years into service, I know they would have sacked her. Honestly.
In this case,
Yeah, it's different.
I was
Honestly.
surprised. I've been hearing a lot of things like, oh, you don't pray, you don't talk to somebody about Jesus, you don't preach. And me,
Yeah,
I'm a nurse that like preaching. I preach
right,
when I'm walking.
right.
I pray for my patients. I don't care whatever they say. I
Mm,
pray for my patients. I tell them Jesus loves you.
mm,
I know you don't like to hear that, but I'll tell you straight.
mm,
So when I got on that floor and I saw these people, they gathered, they said they're doing morning devotion, they're doing a huddle, and then somebody have to pray. I
mm.
was like, Jesus, the managers, the supervisors, all of that come together and they pray.
Oh my God.
So
God. That's
it's
my
amazing,
first
right?
time. It's
Oh,
first time
yes.
I'm hearing this, honestly.
Oh,
First
yes.
time.
So, and it got to the point, the very first day I prayed, they said, one day they called on me, they said, can you lead us in prayer?
Hmm.
By the time I was done praying, somebody
Oh
said,
my God.
"Look,
We found
I
a
haven't
pastor.
been."
Yay!
I
We found a pastor.
And somebody said, "Oh, I feel that prayer. I could feel that prayer you just offered." I said, "Oh, thank you." And then from them on, they start looking forward to me, praying for them on a morning shift. When I'm not at work, everybody they know that, oh, this lady is not coming today. Somebody else is going to do the prayers. So it's a whole lot of experience, and I thank God for that.
Awesome. But outside the work area, did you find like place of worship, place to buy Nigerian or African foods, things around the neighborhood where you live? Are you feeling, because a lot of people in Nigeria, I know a lot of people that be like, oh, I cannot go to US. There's so much shooting, shooting, shooting. Please. And I always tell them there's no much happening around where I'm staying. So but I want to find out where you are staying. How are you feeling? Do you feel safe? Are you safe where you are?
Yeah, I like this state where I'm in the state of North Carolina, and it's a great state. It's a state where you have a lot of veterans. This is a
Wow.
veteran state
Mm,
because right where we are, we have this military base. It's a military base of America,
mm,
North Carolina, and so
mm.
most of the people you see are in the military.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody I come to meet in my colleagues at work, they tell me my husband is in the military. My husband is in the
Mm-hmm.
military. All of them, their husbands are in the military. Everybody is in the military. So you have a lot of them surrounding us here. And that aspect of saying there's a lot of shooting in America, the news media will always go for the negative news.
Yeah, right. Things that will make people's eyes pop out. Yeah,
Exactly. They will
yeah.
never major on a
Mm.
positive
On the
news.
positive,
And by
that's
the
true.
time you start listening to these people every time, you won't be able to step out of your house. You will
Mm-hmm.
be afraid. Even here, right now in America, we hear a lot of news about Nigeria. And then you have this idea that, hey, Nigeria is not safe.
Mm-hmm.
Things are good. But in a nutshell, people are still moving and doing things, going their own way, and nobody's doing anything to anybody.
That is
So
true.
it has to do with a lot of what you are actually listening to. Because if you
Right.
listen to those things a long time enough, you will not be able to, leave your house. You'll be walking in fear, and
Mm.
fear will keep, tormenting you.
Right.
And talking about the schools for
Mm-hmm.
children, when we got here, um, we had this community because every place you stay in America has school. Every community has a school for children that is very close to where they live. You don't have to go very far for your kids to go to school. Any community where you find yourself, there's a school there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's better for you to enroll your child in those schools. So it was a very easy way to put the children in school, and
Mm-hmm.
then they put them according to their age.
Mm.
In your country, in Nigeria, they say you can start going to school at 2 years, but here a child has to be 5 years before you go
Five
to school.
years, yes, before you can go.
And so when my kids came here, they were already going to the entering the GSS 1. They were already in GSS 1 in Nigeria. So
Mm-hmm.
when they came here, they said they have to go to their age group. That's grade 5. They said they have to go to grade 5. We're like,
That is,
but that's what. No, this is our system. We work with the age. That's the age that's appropriate for that class.
mm,
And then everybody in that class have the same age.
mm,
So they work according to age. Their age is what determines the level, the class where the child will be enrolled here.
mm.
That's
Yeah.
how it is.
Yeah, there's another thing that happens in school system. So if you were giving birth to after September, September is when the school year starts. So if you were
Mm,
giving birth to after September, even if it's like maybe October, November, December, you have to join the next age range. You understand? So
mm,
if you were giving birth to before September, you can join your normal age range class. But
mhm.
if you're
Yeah.
giving birth to after September, you have to be. So those of you that are young and if you want to plan your conception, make sure you make it that your children will come before September so that they will be able to follow their age mate. Because let's assume that by the time you get out of high school, you will be, let's say, 17 years. For those that were giving birth to after September, by the time they get out of high school, they will be 18
Mm,
years. So it's just
yeah.
like 1 year difference, but it's painful because it happened to my son. So my son was born in November, but they didn't allow him to enter the class. So he had to join his class when he was already approaching his sixth year. You understand? It's supposed to be 5 years, right? But because it was after that, he has to join the next. So
Mhm.
I'm just giving free information. People will pay me later for that. They are saying conception planning. Okay,
Oh,
sorry, go ahead. I know we don't have
okay.
so much time. We just managed to, run into your schedule today. I know some people also have some questions to ask. So gather your questions. We're going to take questions shortly. Someone is not muted. I'm going to look for you and make sure you're muted. Please, if you are in our group, if you're right here, try to mute yourself so we can have time to hear other people. Please. Who is Ginika? Ginika. I'm trying to look for you now. Please kindly mute your microphone. All right, I think everybody's muted now. So please. We've been listening to Ekiuwa. We've been listening to all the good things she's been telling us about her, experiences here in the US. Not one thing I want to ask her is before we go into the question side, because I know those in our Canadian program, it's still going to be the same thing. So if you are in the Canadian program, if you're in the US program, all this information are going to be similar. Okay. So from what Kekiwa has been saying, she said that, when she comes in, she has to do her handover, she gets her report, then she keep on checking on her patients. And then, she said a few things about, people who are color minded. They said, some people, what you call them, instead of, if you don't want to use those harsh word on them, he said that they are not color blinded. But
Mm,
everybody's supposed to be color blinded. Color means
mm,
like skin. Some
mm,
people will look at you, if your skin is white, they'll be like, oh, you're my friend, and they'll give you all the special preferential treatment. And then if you're not the color of their skin, they begin to, push you away or say a spiteful word at you. And those things are what we are saying today. She experienced it in her own case. We've had people in the program also that say they never experienced it, but she did. It wasn't a palatable experience for her, but she pulled through, because one thing that happens in that kind of situation is you have to stand up for yourself. So she stood
mhm,
up for herself. She was able to speak for herself, not people that, because you feel like, oh, the person is precepting me or the person is my supervisor, let me just keep quiet. I don't want to make her angry. You have to say things the way they are and express yourself. Once you express yourself, they will know how to handle you. But if you keep quiet, they will keep on doing it. That's one thing with abuse. If somebody abuses you and you keep quiet, the person will keep on. And the next abuse is going to be bigger than the previous abuse. So the abuse will keep on climbing from one ladder and you keep keeping quiet. One day you will explode like bomb. And they will now be asking, is this because of this little thing that somebody did that you're exploding like this? But it's something
mm,
that has been happening. So had it been
mm,
you speak up the first time, you won't allow it to go that way. So we're not saying that you'll be rude, but there's polite way of communicating your feelings to someone instead of, just keeping quiet or, talking rude to the person. Politely tell the person, this is how I want to be treated. I don't like the way you are treating me currently. So thank you so much, Ekiwa, for that. I just kind of recap what Ekiwa has been telling us. I know she has some other things that she will want to mention that I may have not mentioned or we have not asked her question in that area. So, Nurse Ekiwa, is there any other thing you would like to add before we go to the question section?
Yes, I want to say something. Here, because of this racist attitude, let me just tell you one thing I observed.
Mm-hmm.
In my unit, I see that this new grad, the new nurses who are just graduating,
Mm-hmm.
they stay for about 3 months and then they start giving them preceptorship program to do. So I observed for a while that these people, they just came in and they started making them preceptors. So, and I've been there on the floor. They didn't call me to be a preceptor. So I had to go meet the manager. I said, manager, am I not eligible to be a preceptor? And if I am not, what are the requirements I'm supposed to use? Because I noticed that I've been here for a while and you guys have not put me in the preceptorship program yet. And she said, oh, yeah, yeah. I think you are, of course, you can be a preceptor. You're good. You can talk to the educationists and let them put you on the program. So I looked at her and I said, wow, these people, they will not, they because everybody on my floor are white.
Mm-hmm.
I think we just two black people on my floor, and every of them are white. So they keep calling those people who just left school, and then they said they want to be preceptor. And I also tell them because they come to me, they will end up coming to me and ask me questions. And then
Yeah.
I looked at this boy, I said, I could see some, some this how do I put it, this partial treatment. You get what I mean? And I
Mm-hmm.
had to go meet them. I said, why am I not in this program yet? Do I have any special requirements?
Mm-hmm.
And then they had to put me to have to enroll me for that program. So that is what if you notice anything that is not okay, notice anything that is not right in your environment, like you said earlier, you gotta speak for yourself. You gotta speak for yourself and do it in a very polite way because they may see you as being rude if you're trying to, raise your voice or try to do some, talk in an aggressive tone. So
Mm-hmm.
I was able to make my way through, and she said, "Okay, fine, you're already part of the preceptorship program."
Wow. So had
You
it
see
been
that?
you didn't say anything, then that's how you continue
Yes.
to stay.
Perhaps
And
they
they
will
pay,
continue to be
they,
bringing
they pay,
people.
yeah, and they pay more for those preceptorship program.
Preceptor program. Yeah, they
Yeah,
pay you for every hour you present, they pay you extra.
to pay you extra. So you
Yeah.
see what you've been missing for not, Oh, but thank God you noticed it and you're able to approach because some people will notice it and be like, let me just stay. I don't know the one I will talk now. They will send me back to my country. No, nobody will do that. You have to speak
Nobody.
up for yourself, okay?
Yeah.
If you didn't learn
Yeah.
anything from today's presentation, learn that you have to speak up. You have to say, somebody said you have to say how you would die. You understand? So all die is die, but you have to say how you want to die. So you have to speak up for yourself and tell them how you want to be treated. And if somebody is not treating you right, don't keep quiet. If you feel like somebody is abusing you, don't keep quiet. Always make your position known. All right, so we're going to take questions and we're just going to allow 3 questions because we have a class following shortly. Okay, so we have 3 questions. If you have a question, you can raise up your hand or ask it in the comment section and we can read it out and we'll be done in no distant time. All right, so all the information that she has spread and shared today, you can also get it on our we're going to be sending you the link to be able to listen to it again if you want to listen to the program or have just like a kind of a recap. Okay, so preceptor program is somebody is asking what is preceptor program. It's just a program whereby they get new when a unit gets a new nurse, they will attach that new nurse to an older nurse so that the older nurse will teach the new nurse a day how a nurse in that unit should carry on in his or her day activity. Like, what you have to do, you take your report, you do this one, you do everything from point to point. They always, have to put them through. And then you will have a book, so that when you're done every day, you have to write a report. Sometimes they say make it weekly. You have to write a report and then check off the person. Maybe tick the person is good with chatting, you tick it. The person is good with introduction to patient, you tick it. Person is good with all the nursing procedures are listed in that checklist. So you have to be checking off the person if the person is good on those areas. So that's the preceptorship program. And Nurse Ekiuwa is a preceptor. She had to go into that preceptorship by mere asking for it because they were not ready to give her that position until she asks for it. So that's one of the things you notice here. If you don't ask for things, sometimes you don't get it. Okay. So somebody is asking, and my question is, when you get to the US, does your agency assist your spouse to get work? Yes, some agencies do that. Some agencies will assist spouse to get work. But one thing I will encourage everybody, one thing I will encourage everybody now, who is doing this? I need to find the person that is unmuted. Give me 1 second. Let's find who is. Okay. All right, so what happens is most people come in here and they are unable to get the desired job. I know most of you have spouses that are doing well. In fact, I'm not going to mix words. I'm just going to say things the way they are. In Nigeria, most people that are registered nurses, their husbands are their breadwinner in their family. So their husbands is making money and sustaining the family and doing well. Okay. But when you come to the United States, if your husband is not in the medical field, the story changes. Okay. So the wife becomes the breadwinner, start making money, and the husband may be working, but will not be making as much as the wife is making. Okay. So it's most times I've seen it brings a lot of problems in different families. There's a program that we have in Decency Academy. We are partnering with a company called Cois Academy. We are training people, and that program is meant for just spouses of our nurses. So we train them on how to gain IT skills. So with that IT skills, you can get a job that pays as much as a registered nurse is earning, and you don't have to leave your house. You have to stay in your house, in the comfort of your house, and get that job. And that program will have another one coming up in November. So why did I raise this issue? Because somebody was asking, can the agency help your spouse to get a job? Most agencies will help your spouse to get a job, but to be honest, where they normally place your spouse is either in the cafeteria of the hospital, like in the kitchen, or some of the other areas of the hospital that doesn't need skills for you to get in. It doesn't need certification, it doesn't need license. Those are the jobs that they will do, and they are paid less. Okay, so in my own if you are to take my own advice, I would say the best thing is to start planning for this journey. Now that you're still at home, now that you're still in Nigeria, begin to position yourself, to be able to fit into the place where you're going to, so that by the time you get in, it will be easier for you to adapt. But if you haven't positioned yourself, when you get in, you start the positioning, and that would take a lot of time, and it might be a process that would bring some squabbles between families, between spouses and all that. So always try to take advantage of resources that you have around you. I'm not saying the Course Academy is the only thing that they can do. They can also do other things. There is another program that we're also trying to see how we can partner with the people that do it. But this one is for doctors, because most nurses in Nigeria marry doctors. So when they marry those doctors, when they come here, most of the doctors may not really want to go into that same practice. They will want to change career. So when they want to change career, there is something called clinical documentation improvement specialist. Okay, these people are people who review medical charts and audit medical charts in the hospital. So those people that do it are also paid very well. And these are jobs that you can do from your house. Most of them, you have to come to the hospital maybe once in a while, or maybe once in 1 month or that, but you can do it, from the comfort of your home. And one thing you enjoy when your husband is working from home is that you don't have to pay for childcare. So he can stay at home, take care of the kids, bring them back from wherever they have gone, and then you continue to do what you're doing at work. So we have another question. Say, I got job with one of the agencies as CNA, and they have started filing for me, have not done my NCLEX. That's why they gave me CNA. My question is, can I tell them to stop, or they should continue? Let me ask my guest. I don't want to sound biased. Let me ask my guest. What do you think that should be done?
Well, from what the lady said, she's a registered nurse and
Yeah.
she's coming as a CNA. She has to have it in the back of her mind that she's going to be working less.
Mhm.
She's going to be any less. than her contemporaries. And
Right.
then if she can put up with that for the period of time where she's in the US and she's able to find her way out to do her NCLEX, she's gonna be courageous to be able to navigate. Because a lot of people here in the US, some of them started as CNA, and then from the CNA they navigated their way to become RONs. And now some of them are even having their masters, the bachelor's degree. So if your agency is already filing for you at this time, your document is already with the US.
Yes.
Uh, yes, a USCIS. So I think you should just let them finish what they're doing.
Mhm. So now, yeah, that's true actually. When your process has gone to the level of USCIS,
Yeah,
you can't stop it. The only thing is the only place again to stop is if they come back and say it was not approved. Okay. Like
exactly.
or
Yeah.
they give you RFE, you can say, okay,
Mhm.
don't further, don't do anything. Let me go the right route. Okay. But if
Yes.
they approve it, you're already, going and there's
Yeah.
nothing you can do about it. But one thing I have seen with this kind of program is when people come in here with a lesser degree or a lesser qualification, they tend to become, what will I call it? They tend to kind of start focusing on earning instead of career progression. There are two different things. They'll begin to be
Yeah.
more interested in paying bills. Okay.
Mm.
I have not paid my bills, so somebody is telling me to come and read for NCLEX. Which NCLEX? Let me just continue to pay my bills. And
Mm.
keeping up to date with your bills in the US or in Canada can be a lifetime job if you're not careful. You understand?
That's
It
right.
can be something you keep on struggling every day to do. Every week you're battling to make sure that you earn enough money to be able to pay your bills. And you keep on doing that every time. And you won't even have time to even study. And remember,
Mm.
you have people from Nigeria that are
Mm.
counting how many years you have stayed in the US for you. This one,
Mhm.
you have gone to the US. This is the seventh year and nothing to show for it. Those kind of things. And you would like to do something. So you work more. And that working
Mm.
more is taking that place of you studying and even processing for your NCLEX. So that's where the problem comes. So if you really need to do it the right way so that you come in and then you're able to be well placed in the society. And then if you want to progress, it will just be something that you have to do part-time on a part-time
Yeah.
basis, not just
That's
like going full-blown course like that. All right,
mm.
so let's see if we have another question on our program. Somebody was raising her hand. I can't see your hand right now. I can't remember who that was. But if you're still here, if you want to ask your question, we can ask you to unmute and then you can ask your question. Somebody say, how much does a registered nurse earn per hour approximately, and what shift pays the most? Another question is, can one work in two hospitals, and how tedious can it be? Oh my God, my Nigerian people are asking this question. This must be from Nigeria or Ghana or Kenya. Don't worry. Okay, my guest, please, can you attempt to answer this question? It's three questions in one.
Okay. I think the first question was about how much the nurse can earn, right?
Yes.
Okay. It's basically according to states. It varies from state to state, and it varies according to your experience, your years of experience. In America, they put your years of experience into consideration. They put your qualification into consideration before they start, giving you your pay. So it's basically on this. For the new grad, those who just left school, like new nurses who just left, they don't have so much experience, maybe a year experience. Some of them are placed on 35 dollars per hour, and it depends on the states they are in, because
Right.
those in California, of course, they pay more. That's a
Mhm,
lot more expensive states.
mhm.
Those in California, what other state that pay, they have a lot of high cost of living. So this pay varies from state to state. Like
That's
in my own state, my state is just it's not a very, I won't call it those kind of states that have those kind of high cost of living like that. But
mhm,
somehow some of them can end up earning 30, 32 thereabout per hour. That's how it
right.
is. And
Right.
then the second question was what again?
She was asking if you can do two jobs at the same time.
Okay. Yeah, some people do two jobs. Some people do two jobs, but if you have to do two jobs, you have to know that you don't have to do two hospital jobs, because it means you want to kill yourself. There are a lot of people here who work who work as nurses, and some of them end up, some of them just fall, they just slump. Some of them died while trying to cover up, and you can actually satisfy everybody in your country. If you say, I want to send money home, I want to do this, I want to do this, you have to take things at a point, one at a time, because first of all, you have to consider your health, number one. Consider your health, your welfare. Your, you have to be able to have good sleep,
Exactly.
because yeah, so like here, they make it like a basic time for work here is 40 hours. 40 hours maximum.
Yeah.
So if you're going to work above 40 hours, it's considered as
Overtime.
overtime. And then they pay you overtime.
Right.
So, and that 40 hours, if you look at it, it's like you're working three days in a week. You're doing 3 days in a week job. That's how it is here. So you have some time to do extras. But I would advise, if you're going to do extra, maybe you go to do a lesser job placement, like a home care, like a clinic, where you don't have to do so much. Because if you combine two hospital jobs, man, that would be so stressful on you as an individual. And then what's the third question again?
Oh, so the third question was asking that, let me get it. Yeah. So she said, I think that's the all the question. And
Okay.
then what shift pays more? Okay, what shift pays more? What kind of shift? Like, is it night
Um,
shift or day shift?
well, the shift that pays more, I would say, because they consider night shift a lot. They give the differentials for night shift
Bonus.
is usually very high. Yeah, they
Yeah.
pay higher. They pay higher for
Mhm.
the night people because they consider your time of you're not going to be sleepy,
Sleeping.
the time you're going to miss with your family and all that. So they put that into consideration. They pay the night people higher. They pay higher.
Okay.
That's how they. Mhm.
Awesome. So this person I can't call you your name because your name there's no name to the this thing, but let me just assure you, okay? When you get to the US, you will earn enough money to be able to take care of your family. And if you have things to do, like programs, projects, and you want to take on a more shift, you can take that more shift in your hospital and earn more money if your hospital have that over time. Because I'm just going to tell you the truth, if you want to go and work in two hospitals, for instance, and they both two hospitals, you have to work 40 hours before you enter into overtime. Okay. So now if I'm working in a hospital and I get like 30 hours overtime, I will make more than the person that is working in another hospital, working in two hospitals at the same time, because that 30-hour overtime, I'm being paid a pay and half, which means I'm being paid, if my salary per hour is like $40. For those 30 extra hours that I work, I'll be earning like $60 because it is a pay and half, for overtime. So most times you just have to be smart about making money. Okay. It's not just about putting in strength, working, but if you come into a place, you try to assess the place. Is this a place that I can work more in this hospital? Master the work first, because most times what happens mostly is when you are so engrossed in making money, you tend to make some mistakes, and anytime you go to work, your license is on the line. Okay, your
That's true.
license is on the line, so you have to make sure that once you get to work, you're well coordinated. You forget everything about your family, everything about things that have happened that made you sad or that might distract you. Focus on the patient, give the patient full attention. Okay, when you finish doing that job, you can go home peacefully and rest, because some people, what happens to them is they go home and they're still thinking about work. Oh, I feel like I didn't give that medication. Oh, I feel like I missed one prescription that the doctor made. Oh, I feel like I forgot an instrument in the patient's abdomen. All those kind of things will be coming to your mind, and that will add to your stress. Okay, but if you're well coordinated, as you're leaving the work, you say, I'm satisfied. I know that I gave in my best to this work that I did today, and I wouldn't have to think about it when I get home. All right, so that's what I wanted to mention to you guys, and we're going to take a few more questions. And I know there's lots of questions coming in, and I will just try and run through it briefly, and then we'll come to an end. We'll get a final word from our guest, and that will be all. So somebody say, thank you so much. I got a mail yesterday to provide more documents. Can I withdraw? Oh, the person that asked a question about CNA is asking if she can withdraw. What I can tell you is if you are a registered nurse and you have the opportunity, if you have the finances to sponsor yourself to do NCLEX, whether in Canada or USA, please kindly withdraw and sponsor yourself. Do it because I know the program you're talking about, and I have not had one single person that went through that program. And for them to be giving you RFE, I don't think is a good sign. So what you can do now is you can withdraw and pursue your normal process to come in here as a registered nurse. Okay, because that's what you deserve and that's where you belong. That's what I can say, that will be my advice to you. All right. So will your experience outside America count? Yes, of course. All the agencies that we work with, all the agencies that Decency Academy partner with, Interstaff, Westways, Flint, Guardian Health, ADEX, all of them, about 5 agencies, all of them count your outside of USA experience. So it will count. Once you apply, you can be able to, you'll be fine with your US experience counting, your outside US experience counting. But when you come in here on your own, most times they would have to ask you, how many years US experience do you have? That's what will make you more employable, especially for those of you that want to go into travel. Okay, you want to travel and make more money, you need to have a US experience. Please, for a businessman in Nigeria that is migrating with the wife, where can the person start? If this person is actually tech savvy, I would say start from doing an IT course. IT is the draining thing now. If you come to this US, if my guests can, I don't know if they, but they are everywhere. If you come to this US, most Asian countries are going into IT. They are all working from home. They drive the best cars. They earn the best money because of IT. IT is just the in thing. A lot of people are cashing in into IT. Okay, so if you have that opportunity, if you can press computer, if you have that zeal to learn how to press computer, go into IT as a husband of a nurse that is migrating to the US, because that's where you earn a lot of money, even more than your wife is earning. Than is better than those that come in and work in Walmart. Some people come in and they go to drive trucks, lorries, and I'm not saying they are not dignifying jobs, but I'm saying it could be better if you get some skills. Okay. So let me ask another question. Said, please, can that your program work for our husbands in Canada? Yes, it works globally. It's not restricted by location. It can work everywhere. But mainly, if you are in the US, you will get more opportunity. If you're in Canada, you get more opportunity than being in Nigeria. You will still get job, but job you'll be getting is job that somebody got, and the person is trying to get more hands from outside that will do the job for him, and they will contract it to you if you're outside Nigeria. So if you do the program now, you even start earning now, even from where you are in your country, and you earn in dollars. And then continuing when you come over, you will start earning more again. So okay, I've asked that question. I've answered that question. So please, boss, for someone who has passed NCLEX, which agency can file for you without using E3 visas based on retrogression? Well, I will ask you to be very careful about that. I know some agencies that is proposing to um H1B visas for you. H1B visa will bring you in here very fast, okay? But you're not going to get your green card until after 5 years. Okay? So after 5 years, which means you're going to first of all make up your mind that you're going to be with that agency for as long as your contract says. Okay, and after your contract, you have to wait for extra 2 years or 3 years before you can get your green card. So it's a good option. The good thing about it is that you come in here immediately and you start earning money because H1B visa is not retrogressed and it works out very fast. Okay, so you can come in here and start earning your money immediately. But the only caveat in it is that you're going to have to wait for 5 years before you can get your green card. All right. So how long will you work before permitted to change shift? Um, I don't know. Our guest, Boss Ekiuwa, can you tell us how long someone will work before they can change shift? Or can you just change shift anytime? And someone else is asking, what is the ratio of nurse to patient in your hospital?
That's a very good question. You changing the shifts. I think you have to work for some time. But if you notice that your environment is becoming toxic, like your work environment is becoming toxic and your license is on the line, you can actually switch and tell them that I don't want to work in this place. Maybe you can work in another unit or float to another section of the hospital. They can do that for you. And then the question she asked was what again?
Yeah,
She said something.
the next question said, what is the nurse to patient ratio in your unit?
Okay, the nurse to patient ratio. You know, when we were having our interview in Nigeria, they were asking us how many patients do you nurse in your hospital in the ICU. I told them, well, we usually do one nurse to two patients, you know, at most one nurse to three patients. But when we got here, you could actually have one nurse to five patients.
In the ICU?
No, this one is not ICU. This is a normal work environment now, like in
Yeah.
another floor, like in the
Okay.
med-surg units. The med-surg units, like where I work is like a med-surg. You can have five patients to one nurse. Sometimes
All
you can
right.
have four to one nurse. But in the ICU, it's basically two
Okay.
nurses, two
All
patients to
right.
one nurse. Mhm.
Yeah. So someone is asking, can we have an OR nurse speak to us about OR nursing in the US? Yes, we are bringing an OR nurse when, let me check when his time is, when he will be here. So we are bringing an OR nurse on the 19th of October. So on the 19th of October, we'll have an OR nurse speak to us about, life in the OR, how the OR is, expose our mind, allow us to get the insight to how the OR in the US works. Okay, so can that you have answered? Huh? All right. So somebody is also asking. I think I've answered that question about the husband being and being able to use the program to work in Canada. Okay, most jobs from the agencies like Passport USA is $34. Do you think it's okay for someone that has 9 years experience of OR nursing in cardiothoracic? Well, it's good, but it can be better. You can get agencies that will pay more. It depends on where and the state that you're going to be working. So what happens is every state has a prevailing wage for the states. Prevailing wage is the amount that you can pay anybody in that state. So they work off your salary based on that state prevailing wage. So if your state prevailing wage is high, you will get higher salary. But mind you, why they are giving you higher salary is because they believe that that money will either go to your rent or it will go to your bills, your light bills, your sewage bill, your water bill, your lawn bill. There's a lot that you have to pay. So all those money will go into that. That's what they expect. That's why they increase the money. So most of you chasing after, oh, they pay higher, they do this. Know that some of those states are actually high. The living expense there is very high. So you're going to have to cope with that, even though you're getting the money, but somehow it will be taken away. So please, boss decency, when are you going to bring someone to talk to us about Canada? We are working on Canada. Someone from Canada will be on this program. We'll be bringing her, let me check when I put her on, 27th of October. So we'll be bringing somebody from Canada on the 27th of October. We'll also be having an immigration to Canada program that we're going to have you guys. We've not had a specific time from the immigration lawyer. Once we decide on the time, it will be communicated to everybody just on all our platforms. So what about those that have occupational health experience and past NCLEX? Can they get agency? So occupational health experience, you mean, is it like you are an occupational health nurse directly, or I didn't know if the question you're asking is based on that occupational health alone, but I would just advise you, if you're a nurse already in Nigeria or in any country and you're listening to us, try and get into med-surg. Med-surg is the best and easiest way to get yourself into the United States. It's something that is always in demand, okay? Med-surg is always in demand. They will always have need for med-surg in all hospitals. So which program is that, please? Maybe I didn't hear. So the program we're talking about is the IT program. It's COIS technology. IT program that we organize to be able to equip the husband of nurses, spouses of nurses, to get the necessary IT skill to be able to work from home in the United States. Please, what program are you talking about? I already explained that. They said after 2 years. So what? I don't know what Chinwe is talking about. 34 for someone that has passed NCLEX, done English, and have visa screen. Okay, so you guys can, go to YouTube and, listen to this. So someone said, but essentially, how is Shearwater's agency? So there's something I want to say here, please. I know we have a lot of audience here. There's something I want to say. The purpose of agencies is to bring you to the United States and support you when you are in the United States. Agencies do that. The purpose of direct hire is to bring you to the United States so that you can work for the hospital. Okay, so the support is not promised in direct hire. Okay, so direct hire is direct hire, which means they hired you directly, and which means there is no support along the line. So if the hospital wants to be very benevolent, they can, try to do one or two things, but it's not their right to do it because you came in through direct hire. Okay, so a lot of people have been asking questions: direct hire and agents, which one should we follow? There's benefit in two of them. And see, agencies will support you. You see how Ekiuwa was explaining when she came in here, she was treated like she was a diplomat. She was carried from the hotel, from the airport to her hotel, from her hotel to, to where she was doing training, and she was taken to her place of assignment. Everything is, you feel supported all along the way, and they keep on asking you questions. Another thing is, there is a season that will come in this recruiting industry. I'm happy I'm putting this on tape because I have experience in this. So there's a season that will come. Most of these direct hires, if we ever experience a very long retrogression, they are going to hands off your process. They will leave you in the middle of nowhere. Okay, because this is not, they really want somebody that can come out very fast. Okay, they have need for you to come in and feel something, fill a position in their hospital. So they want you to come out immediately. Okay, so if you are taking time to come, they're going to hands off. Because one, if it's taking time, they're going to spend more money. Okay, Kiwa was got an RFE and the lawyer has to file again. Each time you file again, you have to pay. Okay, you pay again, you file again. Sometimes all those kind of processes, it involves money. And then for the people that have already budgeted that to bring a nurse here in the United States will take us $10,000, and your own is beginning to take 20, they're going to leave you. Okay, that's just the simple truth. So when you're choosing, know what your preference is. I'm not for or against any of this process. Most of the agencies that are doing direct hire today, they have also done normal recruiting before. Okay, so this direct hire fever that is on the air and people are clamoring about it, it's just new. And I'm just trying to sensitize everyone that there is benefits to both sides. If you want to go to direct hire, we also offer direct hire. We have a hospital here in Chesapeake that we're doing direct hire with. Okay, so if you are interested in that, we can come on board, we can link you up. But we also have agencies that we're partnering with just because we know the importance of agencies. We can't take that out. If there is a need for, okay, maybe when there is retrogression now and it's, every retrogression sinks deep in the fabrics of recruiting, what will happen is that those hospitals will run away because they can't go and start meeting legislations for them to make law. It's not their business, okay? So it's not, but these people that take it as business has an association, and both of them can come together and start fighting in the Congress so that the Congress can make law to allow them to bring in more people, okay? So it's actually their own side, their own work to do. So I cannot take away the work and importance of agencies, even though I know that direct hire, one of the things that people are running into direct hire for is because they say they pay higher. Okay, but there is an average amount that they pay everyone that comes to the United States, an average amount. So I've actually brought in a direct hire nurse here, and I brought in an agency nurse, and I allowed both of them to explain how they feel about their agencies. And all of them felt good about their agencies. So it's all good. Everybody was happy on what they got from who they applied to. So when you're choosing, what I should let you know now, what you should actually consider a priority now is choose people who will do a premium filing for you so that you can come out very fast when the process start going, and also choose people that have credibility. Have they brought people out before? Have they been doing this for a very long time? If they can bring you here to the United States, every other fuse that is going about in the air about this agency is the best, this one is not, there's no agency that is not the best. Nigerians are breaking, not just Nigerians, Africans, they are breaking their contracts, even from direct hire. I see a lot of people who have broken their contract from direct. So if it is that sweet, why are people leaving them? Okay, so all of them is fuse. Anybody that makes any sensational statement out there has something to gain from it. But I'm telling you both sides of the story. I was an agency nurse. I have a direct hire recruiting company, and I know the two sides of the whole story. So I just want to encourage everyone: stay true. Also pray. Okay, Ekiuwa was telling us that she prays so much. I know that she prays a lot, so I know her very well. So also pray before you take any decision. Okay, that's one thing I want to tell everyone. We are going to end now because we have taken about 30 minutes. Is it 30 minutes? Yeah, I think it's 30 minutes. We have taken about 40 minutes from the time of our class, okay? And we'll be going back to our normal Friday classes. So if I didn't answer your question, I'm very sorry. We're going to do this, take the question again in our next class, okay? So this is me just saying bye to everyone. Before I say that, please, I would like Boss Ekiuwa to give us a final word. Boss Ekiuwa, you've been so great
Yeah.
today. We really appreciate you. We appreciate the insights, the inspiration, and how you've handled this topic that we gave to you to discuss. But please, we are so many here. We have so many people at different crossroads. They are trying to take decisions to at least get to where you are right now, and they have families, they have husbands, they have people around them. So what can you tell these people right now?
Wow. Okay. Thank you so much once again. I'm happy to share my experience with you. Along the line, I told you all that I waited for 4 years. I don't want you to lose hope. Do not give up. No matter what is going to be, the process is all like, do not give up. Do not get discouraged. You have to keep pushing until you get what you want. Don't lose focus. People will always come tell you too many things to distract you, but do not be distracted. Be focused. Um, Also, commit everything you're going to do to the hands of God, because God is the one that makes everything perfect. So put everything in the hands of God and do not lose focus. Do not give up, because it got to a point I was like, are you sure this? I'm like, this thing you're saying, this thing really going to work? People who just came here, people who just did, they're already living. You that did so many years ago, you're still there waiting, that kind of a thing. But then I said, no, I'm still going to I'll get there. I will not stop. And it came, God made it true, and everything came out, nice. So please do not give up. Just keep pushing. That's right.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Boss Ekiwa. I really appreciate you. Thank you. And, send my regards to your family, your lovely family. I know we are so
Okay.
close. We're going to find time to visit North Carolina. We'll come and see you guys. Okay. Thank you so much for coming on
Yeah.
board today and being timely and helping us with all the experiences. We do hope that next time we call on you to, come and give us one or more tips about how to be successful here